we go. Oh, I hit the wrong button, but yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. My gosh, we made it. It's a great day here in the neighborhood, and I got my guest host here, Cortney from
Hi guys.
Stars of the Morning Light. Go over there and subscribe to her. She's trying to build her subscribers up, so go right on over. She's doing some great shows, and look at what she's doing. You're doing more moon classes, are you?
Um, Saturday is the last time I'm teaching it like via Zoom and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm going to be teaching my moon manifesting class again this year. I just won't have time. I will though.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody's in the southern part of the United States, the Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama area,
Mm-hmm.
I am hosting a huge new holistic fair.
Oh,
It's
wow.
going to be massive in September in Ringgold, Georgia, about 20 minutes from the Chattanooga, Tennessee border. Come out. And if you know people in the South, tell them to come because I've got the most fabulously mixed bag of alternative healing and all sorts of stuff going on that it's going to be a powerful event. It'll be awesome.
Mm-hmm. And that's
So,
what it's all about, is that alternative healing of
yes.
all the things that were, and then we threw them out and went with big pharma, to cure the
Yeah.
same thing for
I
more
have
money.
I had a woman contact me today that's living now in the South in Georgia who's from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And she was telling me about whatever her healing modality was. And I was like, I've never even heard of that. So I'm getting like so many interesting components and people and businesses and all the products are natural. Everything, it's going to just be great. Natural New Earth Market. That's my focus right now, Robert. That's why I'm not
Yes.
teaching any classes right
Oh,
now.
but I think you got a thing there. People
Yeah.
like natural healing stuff. Now, here's the thing: are you going to have like a website with this products to buy, or
Well,
anything?
it will on I right now I have just a Facebook to market the event on and also my Instagram page. Um what it will be is people will come do the event, but then also probably on that Facebook page, go there. And yes, all their links will be there.
Cool.
Um I don't have all of the vendors yet. They have a deadline to get to me. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
once that's in play, oh yeah, there's gonna be a ton of stuff happening. Yeah, I this is my big focus right now is to grow more of that community and to educate all the people on like the fringes. And then once the fringes become more educated and understand alternative medicine, alternative lifestyles, growing your own food, all of the natural earth, new earth stuff,
Mm-hmm.
once the people on the fringes get into it, then the fringe just keeps growing. And
Yes.
so
Yeah.
that's me trying to do. The only thing that I'm really spectacular at doing, well, not the only, I'm good at a lot of stuff, but is bringing people together. It's
Mm-hmm.
a gift of mine. I've always had it. The host with the mostest type thing. So
Yeah.
why don't put our gifts towards,
Yes.
changing
Do
all this
you know
crap?
and that's the thing, we talked about this, or I talked about this the other day, about it was I did I did this story, how the spider got its web. I don't think and
Yes.
and it was about the spider went to the old. It was one of those Indian stories, of course.
Yeah, I loved
Uh,
it. Yeah.
but the spider went to the great spirit, and the great spirit handed him some string, and the spider says, "But I'm hungry. I don't want this, hair string or whatever it was." And
Yeah.
so he ate it, and then the great spirits, left him, said, "There you go, whatever, get out of my sight, figure it out." And he said, "But I'm so small, whatever." And finally, this little spider figured out, "Hey, I got all this string, and it keeps coming out, and now I can catch things with this
Yeah.
string, and I can, go places and do things." And well, the point is everybody has a talent, and the spider was saying, well, hey, the bear's got claws, and the
Yeah.
and the bird's got beaks, and this has got this and this has got that. Well, you got to use your own talent. Everybody's
Yes.
got their own specific thing. It's if it's
Yeah.
claws or if it's a
Yeah.
horn or if it's a, you know, you got the
That was one of
talent
my
for
favorite stories you did, Robert. I loved that story. So if anybody hasn't listened to it yet, go down. It's in there. I love that story.
That was,
Yeah, it
that's
was
good.
great.
And then the thing is that so everybody's got a talent. So do yours. Like mine is doing this. I was an activities director, and I can get people to do stuff, and I can talk about stuff, and you know, get everybody riled up and ready to go. And you're like the gatherer, you know. Then
Yeah.
you know, let's all do this and you do that. You know, maybe you're an organizer kind of person.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
hey, that works out too. You know.
Yeah. Well, we need all that's, I think that's, I'm happy you said that because we need everybody. Whatever your gift is, whatever your interest lies, whatever inspires you, we need you. Because I can guarantee you, when I'm talking to all these different healing modality people, I'm on the phone going, "Wow, I don't do that. That's amazing." I mean, I do other healing modalities, but it's like, wow, we love you because you know, people might not resonate with me, but they're going to resonate with that person, and it takes everybody.
Everybody working together like that.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, we're gonna work with the Emerald Tablets tonight.
Oh.
And here's my book, The Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Thoth, how do you say it? Thoth or Thoth?
You know, I think in one of my first videos, I straight up said it can be Thoth, it can be Thoth, it can be, because I think now everybody who might not know Stars of the Morning Light, I teach from the Emerald Tablets every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. In one of the first videos, I don't think that really matters. I hate saying that. Because you know what? I can imagine, like, if he was in the room and you pronounced his name wrong, he probably wouldn't give a care, because he cares more about you understanding the cosmic laws and living them, breathing them in, taking them, than if you're calling him the right name. Like, that's just, you know, but so Westernized is Thoth or Thoth. Westernized always changes everything. So that's where that comes
that's for
from.
sure. Actually, you're one of the few people doing the Emerald Tablets and stuff since Gerald Clark. Now, I don't know if you all heard of Gerald Clark. He talked about the Emerald Tablets all the time. But since his passing, you know, here you are picking up the torch, you know.
Oh, I guess I never really thought of it that way, but yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
my husband told me when he
always talked about that. You know, I mean, I got one of his memory sticks, you know, like this with all of his readings of the Emerald Tablets.
Nice.
You know, which is really cool. And I mean, every time he came on, I had to listen to him. So you could be the next Gerald Clark here. You know? I mean, you just keep up the good work.
I could be the next me teaching it, because I will say, I don't teach like he does, nor do I don't think I actually, well, I should ask you, Robert, because you've listened in at various times.
Yes.
What do you think about how I teach them?
I think you do a good job. I mean, if you didn't, I wouldn't listen, but I think you do, because that's why I tune in, because I like what, you know, to listen about it. You bring a different aspect to it, you know. But you know, like Gerald Clark, he studied for many years on it, you know, and I'm sure you have too. But if it's something that you're passionate about, that's what you should go for. You know? Yeah. And you're passionate about it, and that's what I like.
I do want to say, like, compared to him, or I guess I don't want to really say names, but I think how I teach them is vastly different than how other people do.
Yes.
And it's not because I don't know all the cool sciencey and mystery stuff. We'll get to that. But even when I do get to that, it will still be emphasized with it. Because here's the deal. And I guess I'm not completing my sentences fully. Here's the deal. What does it matter to know all of that cool mystery stuff if we don't really adapt the cosmic laws quote unquote hermetic principles, even though I think that's a totally different kind of thing going on there. But what does it matter? What does that really matter if we know what the pyramid's all about, or what this is all about, or what that's all about, when we're not tapping into very simple, very easy cosmic laws that are there for us to change ourselves, the world, the planet, etc. That's my that's where I come from with teaching.
Yeah, because when you're doing it, you're like really explaining. You do a lot of explaining.
I try to make it accessible.
Yeah, there you go.
Because all that mystery stuff, and why was there Anubis, and why was there this, and why was there that, it ends up being, it leaves us detached from the tablets. When those tablets are within us, they're in our inner flame. They're in that flame, that God spark, light it up, it becomes a flame. It's there. So all of the mystery, I should say, which I will go into eventually, but I'm going to do it in a way of, you're right there with it. You're attached to it.
Yeah.
There's always still this detachment. And I personally don't like that, because those cosmic laws live within every cell of our body, that God spark, that if we tap into that, actually, Thoth, whatever you want to say, tells us that flame within us is the most potent of all cosmic forces. Could you imagine if we stopped, put all the nice mystery school stuff aside, and instead took the words and made them a living, breathing fire within, and then brought it out into the world? So therefore, I think I do teach it different. Everybody just went, okay, she just said a lot.
But that is important.
Differently. Yeah.
It is exactly. So now we're on Thoth, and we're talking about him. And I was reading, and in the first part of this book, it talks about when he lived and who he was. Let's talk about this for our first show on this. Who was he? It says here, he lived in Egypt 52,000 to 36,000 BC. That's a long time. That's longer than what they say we've been around, or when the pyramids were built, or any of that stuff. And then it tells us that, he talks about Atlantis, and it talks about his wisdom and his dad and all of these things, and when it sank. So he was from Atlantis. And then it talks about how, I forget what part it was, but it sounds like he was a giant, because he refers to people, as the smaller people, or the little people. And I'm thinking,
Bonds of a lower star.
Yeah, and then he says we're going to go, Atlantis had sunk, and we're going to, apparently gotten some kind of flying thing, and he flew over to the mainland where the barbarians lived. And that's what it says. It says the barbarians.
I love your enthusiasm. This makes me very happy. So can I back it up just a little bit, though?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. I'm just telling you what I read, and I was like, oh my gosh, he was a giant. Was he a giant? These are the questions I got for you. I mean, before we get to the Emerald Tablets, I got to know who this guy really was,
Okay, cool. Yes. Let's just say yes. So I want to back it up, though, some, because he does state clearly that his time in Atlantis, before he even went to Egypt, his time in Atlantis, he had already had many incarnations prior to that.
Yes.
Okay.
That it was, yeah.
And then he's in Atlantis living for a very long time, to the point that he became such an intelligent being using that higher consciousness that he got to break through and be a part of the halls of Amente. And then Egypt happened, and he lived in Egypt for a very long time, establishing Egypt. So I want to just preface there for a minute, because so many people put a lot of timelines on this, or time frame on that. Yeah. I have no idea how they're doing that, when he tells us he incarnated many times before he even started his carnation his life in Atlantis.
Yeah.
So So then when they put the time frame onto this long, and Atlantis was from this period to that period, I'm like, how is that even happening? Because where were these people living prior?
Mm-hmm.
When he was like incarnating.
Yeah.
So our history,
but see, that's the thing. I've studied the giants, and I've studied, all these things, and it sounds like I think there was different races of people.
Yes, there was.
Not just one race, but multiple races,
Yes.
including the giants, and maybe multiple races of giants.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and when they're talking about reincarnating, they could have been reincarnating as giants, because it sounds to me like after he reincarnated over and over, because, to live thousands of years, you would reincarnate. Then he spent, thousands of years studying and learning, to get where he was at.
Yeah.
And then again, he he comes to Egypt, and he's there for a long time teaching the barbarians, knowledge, which I suppose he was so long there that he started with the Sumerians and then worked his way up to the Egyptians. And because they're the ones who have the first, because the Egyptians it seemed like they learned their stuff from the Sumerians. No?
Well, you just asked, I don't know if I should go to giant or Sumerian now. Personally, this is just me, and I guess people would get a bit of how I teach, and I don't really jive with the Sumerians.
Okay.
They're not. So for me, when Atlantis it was very much a had to. It was a flip of the poles. The dwellers said the word, flip the poles, water across the land, sunk in Atlantis, right? Not everybody perished.
No.
Not everybody died, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I do believe that the people that caused that in the first place did the original cause and effect to start that. It was because the power source had to be removed because they were greedy. They ended up being very, spawns of a lower star, as, Thoth would tell us. I do believe that pocket of people are the people that end up going to what we know as Sumeria, who then we know decided to just make humans to dig for gold. They were trying to get the power source again. They were trying to reestablish the power source that they love to just
now that makes more sense, that there was multiple beings, and then of course they would establish different societies with the same knowledge, because the Sumerians had knowledge, and so the Egyptians, and then and so did they had in South America too.
Yes.
And then
South America for me personally came a little bit later, but that's my take on the Sumerians. I just don't. I mean, I can go. When I go to teach it on Stars of the Morning Light, I will definitely talk more about it. But then, so Thoth brought his people, and we're going to talk about it. So then we can talk about the giants to the barbarians in Egypt, because that's where the dweller told him to take them. This was all pre-known to him. So, but that's what I believe Sumeria turned into. The spawns of the lower star that started the whole cause and effect that needed to sink Atlantis in the first place. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. So, with the giants being said, it is clearly stated that he talks about the children of light, the children of men, and then what could be considered half-breeds. He himself, Thoth, however we want to say it, says that he is a half-breed.
Okay. Yeah,
his
I missed
father, that part. So we have the halls of Amente, and the dweller, originally, way back, probably in a pre-incarnation of Thoth, of Atlantis, the dweller actually would take human form and walk around men to teach them. Well, then eventually the dweller had to go into the halls of Amente and stay there. But then he assigned the three. Those were children of light. The three then were his messengers to the people. By the time Thoth had reincarnated so many times into this last incarnation that he lived all these thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
His father was a human that then the three, it stopped going to talk to the people and talked to one man, child of man. His father was that child of man. But everybody has this question. Who was his mother? Who is his mother? Right?
Yeah.
He clearly states he is a half-breed. He is half child of man, half child of light. So now does that make his mother a giant? Does that make his mother a child of light, which is really kind of, I would say, aliens and better in so many terms, coming down, being giant form. She got with his dad, who was a child of man.
Yeah.
That is who he is. He's a half-breed. And I believe that he really needed to be a half-breed to end up being who he was.
It makes sense. And
Right.
with that, we are at our 20-some-odd minute mark, by gosh. All right.
Woo!
Well, people, if you want to hear more, you'll have to tune in for the next episode of More Emerald Tablets with Cortney. And I think that was really great. Remember, everybody, well, first, I want to say, you got any last words?
So I just want to make it clear, if you want to consider him a giant, you can consider him a giant. And I love you all dearly. Yes, visit me, visit Robert here, and use your gifts and talents, as so many say. Be a part of the movement, because it is happening.
Yes, it is. And with that, remember, everybody, be the frequency you want to receive. I love you all, everyone. Peace.
Bye.